Hey guys, it's Debbie. I'm back with you today to talk a little bit about the critters we have down here at the barn. And we're going to start off with Dash. She is our resident chicken. She was just getting a drink there from the water that's actually meant for the pig. But chickens are pretty smart, so she figured out pretty quick that she knew how to get the water out of that bucket. She is panting a little bit today. It is hot. It's supposed to be a high of like 100 degrees today, so that's how chickens cool off. They have to open their mouth and pant. They also drink a lot of water when it's hot. But what we were going to talk about today is some of the differences in our farm animals' digestive systems and what they eat. So you guys probably see ads on TV a lot that talk about how chickens are vegetarians. I will tell you right now, chickens are not vegetarians. They are omnivores. If it does not run away from them, they will eat it. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's a mouse, if it's a frog, if it's a snake, they will eat it. They are actually the closest living relatives to dinosaurs. Campers probably have heard me say that quite a bit because it's true. They are just little feathered dinosaurs. Chickens have a different digestive system than you and I do. They have what's called a crop, which is where all of their food goes when they first eat it, and it kind of hangs out there for a little bit. And then, since they don't have teeth, the way that they crush their food is in the gizzard. So the gizzard is a great big muscle. It's a very strong muscle. It's got a thick lining on it, and they actually eat pebbles and little stones and put them in their gizzard, and then their gizzard is what crushes their food up. So that is how they turn big chunks of food into little chunks of food. And another thing to note about chickens is their body temperature actually averages about 106 degrees. So they're a very, very warm animal. Their eggs, when they pop out, are very, very hot, and they actually are fantastic hand warmers in the winter when they first come out of the chicken. I will stick them in my pockets and keep my hands warm in the winter. So that's what we're going to tell you today about chickens. So here is Mama. She is our cow. We're not really sure what breed of cow she is. Best guess is that she's a Jersey and a Holstein cow. She is what is called a dairy cow. So she, if she didn't live here, she would be living somewhere and being milked every day. And a cow her size can actually give up to 8 gallons of milk a day, which is amazing. Go to your refrigerator and pull out the gallon of milk in there, and think about 8 of those coming out of Mama Cow. It's a lot of milk. The record for milk for a daily production in a cow is actually over 20 gallons in one day, which is crazy. But that would be off a much larger cow than Mama is. Mama's a pretty small dairy cow. Some other facts about cows: they don't actually have upper teeth. They just have a pad. They have lower incisors but no upper incisors. So if you watch them eating in a field, you'll notice that they will grab onto the grass and kind of snap their head up, and that is how they break the grass off to swallow it. They have to break it off on those bottom teeth. A cow's body temperature is higher than ours. It's actually about 101.5 degrees is normal. Don't really need to worry about a fever with them until it's actually over about 103. That's when we start to worry and start to treat her. Cows chew their cud, which means they regurgitate their food and re-chew it and swallow it again, and it really stinks. I don't know how many of you have been out here when Mama has been chewing her cud, and if she burps in your face when she's doing that, oh my goodness, it is horrendous. The smell is bad. Cows regurgitate their food and chew their cud because they actually have a multi-chambered stomach. There's actually 4 chambers in it. It's the rumen, the reticulum, the omasum, and the abomasum. And they actually just regurgitate from the rumen. So she eats her food, it goes into the rumen, she coughs it up, chews it again, and then it goes back down into the reticulum and goes into the other systems. So she is a ruminant. That's why her tummy is so big. That is actually all of her digestive system for all that food that she takes in each day. And ruminants are actually a fantastic animal for keeping warm in the winter because all of that digestive system down there is like a great big oven inside her. So she really doesn't get very cold in the wintertime because she's got all that tummy keeping her warm. So what I'm showing you guys here is on our goat that they don't have any teeth on the top, they just have teeth on the bottom. She's not really liking me manhandling her like that, so I'm not going to hold her mouth open very long. She also though has a cross bite. She's a little messed up, so that's why her bottom jaw is a little off from her top jaw. That's not really a good thing in goats. It can make it really hard for her to eat, so we actually do kind of baby her with different kinds of feeds and different kinds of hays, just trying to keep her weight up because she does have trouble chewing sometimes. Goats are actually the same as cattle in that they're ruminants, so they do the same thing. They regurgitate and chew their cud. They've got the same digestive system, the same high body temperature also, and they eat the same thing. Lots and lots of forage and dry matter. They really don't need a whole lot of grain to survive on. It's more grasses and hay and forages and stuff like that. And just like the cows, they actually drink quite a bit of water. They need a lot of water to digest all that dry matter that they eat each day. These goats are actually Boer goats. They are a meat breed. They actually originated from Africa. They aren't a dairy breed, but there are dairy breeds of goats, just like there's dairy breeds of cattle. And you can milk goats each day. You don't get 8 gallons of milk out of a goat though. You usually measure what they put out in quarts. Goat milk has a little bit of a funny taste to it. Not everybody likes it. You can buy it at the grocery store if you were ever curious and wanted to try it. It's different. Just like goat milk cheese has a bit of a different taste. But goat milk does have some properties to it that are different than cattle milk, which makes it easier to digest for a lot of people. So here is Fred. She is one of our bunnies. She's kind of hiding back there in the shade because it's pretty darn hot today. It's kind of hard for bunnies to cool off, so she's doing the best she can to hide back there. Some little facts about bunnies are their teeth actually never stop growing. So you'll notice there's probably some gnaw marks around on the wood where she's chewed on that. We actually have to provide them with items that they can chew on to keep their teeth worn down. If we don't do that, we actually might have to take them to the vet to have them worked on because they will just keep growing up until their top jaw. Kind of gross fact about bunnies is they actually eat their own poop. They need to do that to regain some of the bacteria that they need to digest food properly, but it's still a pretty gross fact, and I am thankful that I have not yet seen them do that because that's pretty darn yucky. Another fact about bunnies is their babies are called kits, which is actually short for kittens. So just like baby cats are called kittens, baby rabbits are called kittens. And if they were in the wild, they actually live underground in dens and tunnels that are called warrens. And that's the facts we've got for you today on the bunnies. Hey guys, here is Biscuit, and he is laying down out in the sun, which seems a little unusual on a hot day like this. But what you guys can't feel is there's actually a pretty good breeze going on. And part of the reason he lays down is because he tucks his legs up under him so that the flies can't get them. So in the summertime, he lays down quite often like that, just so the flies can't get to him as easily. So donkeys and horses are different than our cattle and goats. Donkeys and horses are what's termed a hind gut fermenter. And don't worry about the funny steps he's taken. It's just because he just got up from laying down. He's an older guy, so sometimes when he's laid down for a little bit and he gets up, his joints are a little creaky and it makes him walk a little funny for just a little bit. So hind gut fermenters means that they do all their digestion, not necessarily in their stomach, but back in their intestine. So their small intestine can actually measure 50 to 70 feet, which is very long. If you think of all of that being tucked up inside him, that's a lot of intestine to be stuck up in there. And these guys usually eat 1.5 to 2% of their body weight of hay per day. That usually ends up being about 15 to 20 pounds of hay for a 1,000-pound horse. A little bit less for a guy like Biscuit because he's not that big. They drink a lot of water, but they actually are going to drink more water in the winter than right now because we're going to up their feed, their hay in the winter time to keep them warm. And when we increase their hay, we need to increase their water so that they can digest all that hay. So they may actually drink a gallon or two more in the winter time per day than they do right now when it's burning hot. Of course, if they go out and they give a riding lesson, they get a little sweaty, that's a different story. They'll drink some more during the day then. Our horses and the donkeys actually see a dentist at least once a year. Some of our horses have to see it twice a year. Some of them, the dentist has to come out every 3 months. The dentist has to look at the teeth and make sure that they are grinding properly. And if they aren't grinding properly, he has to float them, which means he has to file them down. It doesn't hurt them at all. It feels a little funny, but it doesn't hurt. Most of our animals take it okay, but a few of them need to get some happy juice so they chill out a little bit. Kind of like you guys breathing some happy juice at the dentist when you get a little nervous. And that is our donkey Biscuit. Hey guys, here is Dipstick. You guys know him. He was the little guy born here last October that Caitlin took home and bottle fed, and now he's not so little anymore. So, some facts about pigs. They actually have a simple stomach. It's very similar to a human digestive tract. In fact, they are so similar to us that their stem cells are often used in human research. Mama pigs are pregnant for 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. And if you guys haven't ever seen Dipstick run, it's a pretty funny sight to see, but he can actually go 11 miles per hour, which is pretty fast. I know I can't go 11 miles per hour. Pigs can't sweat to cool off, so on hot days like this, Dipstick likes to climb into any of the horse water tanks that he can get his little fat self into. He would also love to roll in some mud if we had some available for him. We try to keep mud for him, but it often dries up, and so he decides instead to go into the water tanks. Pigs can also be loud, really loud. So if you've ever been out here when Dipstick has wanted something that he doesn't get, he will squeal. He can squeal louder than an airplane. And their sense of smell is actually 2,000 times more sensitive than humans. Pigs can actually be trained in foreign countries to sniff out truffles and help humans find truffles in the forest. So everybody say bye to Dipstick.